Hello, Brigadiers and Brigadettes and hockey fans alike. This is your captain speaking. Welcome to my channel. Now let's jump into some hockey content. Hello everybody. As you can see, I've got my wonderful new jersey here, my reverse retro jersey. Two reasons that I'm going to be wearing this for this video today. One, because I love it and I wanted to show it off. And two, because I'll be talking about the Minnesota Wild today. And that is the team that came into the league with the Columbus Blue Jackets. So we're kind of like brothers, I guess, if you think about it. They're a more successful version of us. But with that being said, we're going to jump on into the questions anyway. And so the first question is, will Kaprizov be the player the Wild desperately need? The Minnesota Wild aren't exactly known for being a goal-scoring team, which is ironic because in the past 5 seasons they finished 2nd and 11th. The second season was the 2016-17 season where they finished in goals for, and the 11th season where they finished 11th in goals for was the 2017-18 season. However, they really haven't had a lot of guys that can consistently produce 30-plus goal seasons. Yes, Eric Stahl had a 42-goal season in the 2017-18 season, but that was the only time Stahl cracked the 30-plus goal marks in the 4 years that he was with the Wild. The closest player to that is Zach Parise, and he's been able to provide some quality scoring. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. The past 8 years in Minnesota since he came over from New Jersey. However, they've really not had a player that's been super exciting to watch offensively that captivates not only the Wild fans but the national audience as well, besides Marian Gaborik. And Kaprizov could be that guy. Kirill is projected to be the third most likely to win the Calder behind Igor Shesterkin and Alexis Lafreniere. That's huge because for the first time in a long time it would actually feel like the Wild have a player that could be able to get them some attention from the media and not just be the team that works hard and manages to all chip in. They'd actually be able to have a guy that's a go-to guy. There's a good reason for it, though, as well, because he's put up 153 points, 78 goals, 75 assists, and 168 games in the KHL the past 3 years. So he's been able to, score consistently in the second-best league in the world. KHL, widely regarded as the second-best league, and he's been averaging about a point per game in the KHL the past 3 years. I know I'll definitely be watching a few more Wild games this year just because of Kaprizov. He's exciting. I want to see if he can win the Calder, and I think he really does have a good chance. Now, the second question is, will Talbot save Minnesota or push them farther down into the standings? Cam signed a 3-year, $11 million contract with the Minnesota Wild after posting good numbers with the Calgary Flames last season. The problem is I'm not sure which Talbot the Wild are going to get. The 2017-18 to 2018-19 seasons, his record was 42, 48, and 6 with a 3.15 goals against average and a .902 save percentage and 2 shutouts. Obviously, that's high for the goals against average, and then that is low for the save percentage. And then the 2019-20 season, 22, 12, and 10, 2.63 goals against average, .917 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. Now, I do realize that goals against average is sometimes considered a team stat, and I think that's fair, but I don't think that this would be able to defend his poor play the past 2 seasons before this, but I think there's a reason for it, and I think the reason, especially the past 2 years, that he's feeling the brunt with the Oilers, that he just had that bad stretch, is because they played him in 196 games in 3 seasons, and they just continued to beat a dead horse, old reliable. They just kept going back to Cam when they were trying to go on a run like they had the one year they lost in the second round to the Ducks. And in my opinion, they just really beat Talbot in the ground, kept going, like I said, with old reliable, and he had some injuries to deal with along the way. I'm worried about this deal because at this point in his career, I view Talbot as more of a backup, and due to his age, also the fact that he performed better as a backup behind David Riddick in Calgary. Now, he's not getting paid a ton, but at the same time, you might have 3 years being stuck with Cam Talbot because you needed some goaltending for this season, which the problem is Minnesota's not a contending team, but, let me know if you think they are. One thing I will say, though, is that Minnesota finished 22nd in the league for goals against, and I do see some promising things with that. I know that you would look at 22 goals against, or being 22nd in the league for goals against, as being a bad thing, but there's some things that I think the Wild are going to be able to help out with Talbot, and that it's that they finished first in the league for fewest high danger chances and first in the league for scoring chances against, while also finishing 10th in the league for shots against. So there are some things that I'm liking for this Wild team to help Talbot out. To me, it wasn't the defensive schemes that were hurting the Wild. I just think it was horrendous, terrible, awful goaltending. The Wild finished third worst in the league last year for save percentage, ahead of only Detroit and San Jose. As we know, both of those teams had terrible goaltending situations. You can only do so much with a rebuilding team, but part of that is on the goaltending. The Wild could be, I'm not going to say contenders, but a dark horse if they did get some reliable goaltending. We'll see how this works out with Talbot. I don't like the 3-year deal, though. Ideally for Minnesota, if they're able to get some reliable goaltending, they'd be able to get back towards the top of the Central. I do think that with the way they play, and if they can get some good offense from some of their future guys. Now, my third and final question is, should the Wild go into a rebuild? Let's be honest, rebuilds are never fun, but if it's done right, it's completely worth it, as you gain players that make your team a contender for a very long time. The Wild have never really been a tanking team, as according to me, and I know I've been wrong before, but I think I'm right. The worst season they had was their inaugural season where they finished 25th in the league out of 30 teams. So the worst they finished was 25th in the league. Now, what do they have to show for it, for their lack of rebuild? 9 playoff appearances, 1 division title, 3 second-round appearances, and 1 conference appearance. 1 conference finals appearance against the... I don't remember. Let's see. It would have been... We're not going to worry about that. I can't think of it right now. But I know that they upset the Canucks in the second round because they had a 3-1 deficit and they managed to come back. Now, I know that at least this team's been competitive for basically the entirety of their existence, but they really don't have a lot to show for it. I know that I'm a Blue Jackets fan, and I shouldn't be one to talk, but we're talking about the Wild today. Not the Blue Jackets, the Wild. With guys like Kirill Kaprizov, their top prospect, Marco Rossi, the 9th overall pick this year, Matthew Boldy, the 12th overall pick in the 2019 draft, and then Capo Kakinen, who's supposed to be the goalie of the future, who actually had 7 shutouts in the AHL last year. I think the team should play this year out, see how it goes, but if another stagnant year happens, there's no shame in a rebuild. They likely would be able to get it done faster than most teams because they've already got some great players on their team and in their system. I just think that if they have another disappointing year and another early playoff exit, it's time to go through the rebuild. You've already got Colorado that's in your division that's going to be a favorite for the next few years. You've got St. Louis in a normal Central division as well as Vegas. Wait it out a little bit. Wait till their championship windows are done, or at least on the back end, and then obviously you'll be ready with your core. I don't know, let me know what you think, and everybody be safe. Have a great, I'm not sure what day it's supposed to be, I think Wednesday, and stay safe from COVID. Again, sorry if this video was a little bit less energetic. I just got back from work, and for some reason, my throat's a little sore, but anyway, like I said, everybody have a great Wednesday. I will see you, I think, Saturday, and again, stay safe from COVID. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes, and hockey fans in general. This is your captain signing off. Have a great week.